Mom. What are you doing today?
Providence Place, owned by the Sisters of Providence, an ideal rental setting for retirees to continue their active, independent lifestyles. We have bright 1 and 2 bedroom apartments, a magnificent chapel with daily mass, restaurant-style dining, and wellness and entertainment programs. Call for a tour, 413-534-9700.
Mom, call me when you're not so busy.
Coming up on this edition of Reel to Reel.
I'm Kathy Harrington, hoping in the story about a massive appreciation for healthcare workers.
I'm Nick Morganelli. The First Catholic Life Conference has gone virtual. I'll show you what it offers and how you can participate.
And Catholic elementary and high schools in the diocese are using funding from the foundation of the Diocese of Springfield for institutional advancement. These stories are coming your way next on Reel to Reel. Hello and welcome to Reel to Reel. Since 2008, the foundation of the Roman Catholic Diocese of Springfield has been providing grant monies to the Catholic elementary and high schools in the diocese. The foundation grants, initiated as a result of the Future of Hope campaign some 20 years ago, have been used in a variety of ways, from providing tuition assistance to unexpected capital expenditures, all with one goal in mind: to meet challenges of the future. I visited 3 schools to see how these important funds are being put to good use. At St. Mary's Elementary School in Lee, Principal Jennifer Maston says that last year the school used grant money to upgrade the safety standards in their cafeteria kitchen. And this year, a $10,000 foundation grant is being used for a heating upgrade for the building. Point-of-use water heaters are being installed throughout the school.
We're trying to be a lot more environmentally friendly too, so a lot of what we're trying to do are building upgrades that are going to be more efficient for our building, save us money, save energy, and just be more eco-friendly in the equipment that we have and are using, because it's an old building.
Maston says the Berkshire Catholic Elementary School appreciates the extra funding provided by the foundation.
It's hugely helpful because that's not something that's in our budget. We don't just have an extra $20,000 every year to be putting things into our building. So it's really been so helpful with kind of meeting those goals as far as efficiency and making our building run in a more modern fashion.
Catholic School Superintendent Daniel Belargin said every Catholic school in the diocese receives grant monies that help to pay for things that are outside of the school's normal operating budgets, from building maintenance and repairs to new and upgraded technology.
And then other schools use it for positions. So, for example, St. Stans and Adams has used it to help fund their marketing position, because they don't have, on their budget, they don't have enough for the part-time marketing needs of the school, and so they use this grant as a way for institutional advancement in that way. So every school uses it for their own needs and are very creative.
The 82 students, along with staff of St. Mary's High School in Westfield, will benefit from several large-scale projects funded by a $104,000 foundation grant. Principal Matthew Collins says the 115-year-old school is in the process of adding a second boiler, as well as upgrading their science lab.
We do have a really good boiler currently, but Massachusetts state law requires you to have 2 boilers in a high school building. So we are purchasing and putting in a new backup boiler. And we've been working with WEPCO out of Westfield to design the project and get us going with that. So it's extremely important to be able to have that, because it is an old building. Although, as you can see, we've done a lot of upgrades and we really keep it up the best we can, but the building's, it's well over 100 years old.
Collins says the grant funding will also be used for students to attend the annual March for Life in Washington, D.C. in January, as well as to purchase a transit van with plans to offer transportation for students in the future. And over at St. Thomas the Apostle School in West Springfield, Sister of St. Joseph Patricia Houghton, principal of the elementary school, says the $5,000 grant the school has received this year from the foundation is much appreciated, especially in light of this ongoing pandemic.
After a good 3 months of remote learning and looking ahead at where we are now, I think it was important for us to try to get Chromebooks for everybody. Everybody didn't have the opportunity to, use Chromebooks or any kind of a device in their house, especially if it was a household that had multiple students.
Sister Houghton says the extra funding helps the school to maintain its high standards in education.
And right now, in the midst of all of this, we need technology. We need the Chromebooks. We need the Elmos in the classroom. We need a whole program, if we go to remote, that we are able to use Google Classroom with our Chromebooks and all of those things. It's really important. So the foundation allows us to do that.
And other foundation grants are awarded annually to the Newman Center at UMass Amherst, as well as vocations, social ministries, and lay ministry formation. The COVID-19 crisis jettisoned healthcare workers, frontline and emergency responders into overdrive, using all precautions at work so they can care for their patients and protect themselves, working long hours under heightened stress. They go home exhausted, but also on guard to protect their loved ones from any exposure they may have had to the virus. For these dedicated people, it's a marathon of months. As Kathy Harrington reports now on a recent Mass of Thanksgiving offered in their honor.
This Vigil Mass of the Feast of St. Maximilian Kolbe looks like all others this summer, with the celebrants and faithful wearing masks and maintaining safe distances. The celebration was to thank those who worked so hard while we were at home and quarantined.
My brothers and sisters, we gather together this evening to give thanks to God for all of those who work in healthcare.
But in 2020, the importance of this tradition in the Catholic Church to ask God's blessings for healthcare workers is magnified.
No greater love hath thee than to lay down your life for your friend.
The faith community of St. Stanislaus Bishop and Martyr Basilica in Chicopee began planning this Mass for the heroes of the pandemic in the spring. Brother Michael Duffy, a nurse educator and adult nurse practitioner, said St. Camillus de Lillis came to mind. The 16th century Italian-born soldier turned gambler ended up working in a hospital and later became a priest.
After he was ordained and motivated by the work he had done at the hospital, he assembled a group of Catholic people, religious and lay, who wanted to come together and work with the suffering patients, and he called this motley crew Servants of the Sick.
Facing the bubonic plague, the Order of Ministers of the Infirmed lived their faith.
In addition to the traditional vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience, his community went one more. They took a fourth vow: unfailing service to the sick, even at risk of their own lives.
Centuries later, Father Maximilian Kolbe said, "Indifference is the most deadly poison of our time." With their patients sometimes facing death alone, the pandemic has put the spotlight on healthcare workers around the world. They're putting their own lives at risk while providing care. Lifting up the heroes in prayer, Duffy called them by their occupation: doctors, physician assistants, medical practitioners, nurses, healthcare technicians, EMTs, paramedics, housekeeping staff, and dietary services.
As we each, in our own way, in our own station in life, lay down our lives in service to humanity, in time of pandemic and not, because we are motivated, like Camillus and Max, by love. Remember the good news that we heard this evening and that brought us together. No greater love have we than to lay down our lives for our brothers and sisters.
For all they have done and endured, Archbishop Mitchell Rosansky said it was important to give thanks to God and to recognize the contributions of these heroes.
Our healthcare workers have shown us that example over the past months, so we unite their sacrifice with that of St. Maximilian Kolbe in the way that he gave his life for others, showing all of us how to give our lives for others.
In May, Archbishop Rosansky visited Mercy Medical Center in Springfield to bless healthcare workers and first responders.
They spoke about how this has impacted their lives. And indeed, for those who are in the healthcare profession, just the day-to-day would bring some stresses and strains upon them. But to throw the COVID-19 virus on top of it, we can just imagine the stress and strain that they have all been under.
I started in January, and of course we had this pandemic started in March, and it totally threw our way through a loop. So where nursing was much more holistic, now it's become more practical and dealing with the moment issues.
Will Puckett is a newly graduated nurse working in a hospital rehab where there are restrictions on visitors.
It's hard for the patients, especially because they spend a good amount of time with us, a couple weeks, and not having visitors is hard.
We have everything, mask, goggle, facial cover, and gown, and gloves, definitely.
Careful to stay protected while caring for patients, nursing student Joy Zhang works as a CNA at an extended care center. She will earn her nursing degree next spring.
I think I will continue studying to be a nurse practitioner in the future.
To all the healthcare workers, I want to express my thanks because I know that many times they're unrecognized because they're behind the scenes, but yet they're on the front lines. And we thank God for their witness and for what they do for all of us.
The Archbishop says we must also give thanks for the healing they have brought to many COVID patients. For Reel to Reel, I'm Kathy Harrington.
And special prayers were also offered for scientists who are working for a cure for the virus. And still to come on Reel to Reel, Rebecca Drake has the final installment of our series of tributes to the class of 2020. And Nick Morganelli tells us how the Catholic Life Conference will be presented virtually. These stories are still ahead on this edition of Reel to Reel.
The Chalice of Salvation, your weekly spiritual connection. I'm Passionist Brother Terrence Galen, your Chalice host, inviting you to take time out of your busy day and join us Sunday morning. We welcome Franciscan Father Albert Shearer as our Mass presider and celebrate the 26th Sunday in Ordinary Time. The Chalice of Salvation, Sunday morning at 10 on WWOP TV 22, and coming up next on Albany's Fox 23, WXXA.
Hi, Mom. What are you doing today?
Providence Place, owned by the Sisters of Providence, an ideal rental setting for retirees to continue their active, independent lifestyles. We have bright 1- and 2-bedroom apartments, a magnificent chapel with daily mass, restaurant-style dining, and wellness and entertainment programs. Call for a tour, 413-534-9700.
Mom, call me when you're not so busy.
Butcher, baker, candlestick maker. I didn't care what they grew up to be as long as they were happy. To give up marriage and children just seems like too much to walk away from.
He seems to think he's making a real difference in people's lives, and he's so happy. Isn't that what's most important?
I never would have imagined our son as a Catholic priest.
As our local high school and college graduates begin college studies, work, and military service, we honor 4 Catholic graduates who belong to Our Lady of Guadalupe Parish in Holyoke. Adaris Domenici Feliciano graduated from Holyoke High School, where she was a member of the National Honor Society and participated in the Business Club. She plans to study at the University of Massachusetts in Amherst and to attend law school to become a family lawyer. Of her strong Catholic faith, Adaris says, "I know God is always by me in my life, and when I worked really hard for my scholarships, I knew it was because He was by my side." Javier Correa graduated from Holyoke Community College, where he was a Dean's List student. He is interested in pursuing a career in communications media. Javier credits his parents and his Catholic faith with helping him succeed in his studies. He says, "At the end, God was always there for me to help me achieve and finish my education. And not only that, but I made the dean's list. All this thanks to God." Also graduating from Holyoke Community College was Eri Lopez. And graduating from Holyoke High School was fellow parishioner Gabriela Martinez. Congratulations, Adaris, Javier, Eri, and Gabriela. Your achievements, your energy, and your faith bring hope to all of us as we meet the challenges of this historical pandemic year. May God bless you always and in all ways.
And congratulations to all of the 2020 graduates. You are a special class for sure. Well, plans for the first Catholic Life Conference in our diocese, originally scheduled for March at the Mass Mutual Center, were canceled due to COVID-19 restrictions. The planning committee set another date for October with all the same speakers, but the hope for a live in-person conference was once again dashed. But now it's not only happening, but it's bigger and better than imagined. Nick Morganelli shows us how going virtual has its benefits.
As much as we try to plan everything in life, it shouldn't come as a surprise when it doesn't go as expected. We think we are in control, but we simply are not. But if there's one thing this pandemic has taught us, it is that when so much seems out of control, we have no choice but to trust in God. For the past 3 years, we have created a conference with the goal to enrich Catholic identity. With 1,500 people planning to attend, all that changed. And just like that, we were forced to trust in His plan, a new plan. Now, we are joining together, but this time in the comfort of our own homes.
Doesn't matter if you're young or old, the goal, the first destination of every Catholic, of every person, is to be a saint. To be a saint, to be holy.
Father John is one of the local speakers for the very first Catholic Life Conference for the Springfield Diocese.
My hope is that the Catholics in this diocese, and maybe the ones around us, are really going to come together and feel like, we're all Catholic and this is good. So that's one thing. But I think mostly that they'll have this connection with Jesus that will just turn all the lights on in their Catholic faith.
I pray that your hearts and minds may be opened to the goodness and graces that God has in store for you on this virtual conference.
When we started the Catholic Life Conference and had the whole idea of bringing this conference to Springfield, we had two goals. One was to bring Catholics together in the Springfield Diocese, and the other was to bring Catholic life into homes. The group of people that are helping with this conference are 100% volunteers. They all have full-time jobs, kids that are in school, several big families, 5 and 6 children apiece, homeschooling them, sending them to school, remote learning, the whole gamut. People own their own businesses. We've got deacons and priests. The biggest blessing I've encountered is how many people God has put in our lives in order to get this gigantic task done.
The committee transformed the conference so it is available for anyone, literally around the globe. I recently spoke with the conference director, April Hellenick, on the details. It's really exciting that we're going forward with the Catholic Life Conference, but there's been some changes and we're going virtual. Tell us about what people are going to experience now as they participate in this Catholic Life Conference.
We have all of the speakers that we're going to have in person.
The mystery of the holy sacrifice of the Mass, the real presence of Jesus in the Holy Eucharist. This is what it's all about. Jesus paid a debt he didn't owe because we owed a debt we couldn't pay. Faith really matures when we grasp the real presence of Jesus in the breaking of the bread.
Hudson Biblo, he has his wonderful story of coming fully into the church with love and joy and peace. And then he does a great talk on friendship. I actually listened to it already, and everyone should hear that talk.
The real big thing I realized was being able to give back right in my home parish, right where I was. You know, how many of our home parishes, they're starving for people to give of themselves in healthy and good ways to build the community right where we are.
We have Trish Short, who speaks on pro-life, divorce, conversion.
She takes mercy and just opens it up.
They're all pre-recorded, so if you've been able to watch a movie on the computer or on your TV, you should be able to do this conference.
Welcome to the Bible and the Sacraments, part of the St. Paul Center's Journey Through Scripture Bible Study series. Now, our mission for this study is to examine and explore the sacraments of the Catholic faith. And if this is the first time you've ever dug into the sacraments, well, you're in for a treat. But even if you're not a first-timer, I think you're going to find this to be just a bit unlike any other study on the sacraments that you've ever undertaken.
We have a live Q&A, which is on Saturday, October 17th. That is with all 4 of the speakers. The questions can come in live during that day, but throughout the week, as you're watching the pre-recorded talks, you'll be submitting questions.
One benefit, I guess, from being virtual is that for our Latino and Hispanic Catholics out there, they can get the conference in their own language, video and in text. And this is all on the website too. That's amazing.
Yeah, we are so excited about our Spanish translated, and not just translated, but just talks for just the Spanish-speaking community, our Latino brothers and sisters who have a fantastic conference prepared for them. Each of the talks are not only translated. Father Ryan Rooney down in the Sacred Heart is doing the opening prayer for us, and his choir and him are doing the Divine Mercy Chaplet and some music in Spanish for us. We have a talk being given by Father Carlos in Venezuela. Everything that is available to you is right on the website. Right now it's the conference schedule, so anybody can go right on the conference schedule and see what the schedule is Sunday through Saturday, the October 11th to the 17th. You could watch all the videos in those 2 days, or if you just like to enjoy at a slower pace, you can go Sunday through Saturday and enjoy them slowly. We kind of split it up for about 1 to 2 hours per day. We have a DVD for people that aren't feeling comfortable with the website.
Oh, we're called P-O-P-P-L-E, that's what's Popple.
Where would this world be without a kazoo? The virtual conference has plenty for kids too. Check it out.
The Family Pilgrimage is a interactive children's program for the week. Debbie and Chrissy will be walking us through what each activity is for the week with a little bit more catechism. And then each destination will have their own activity that has to do with the talk for the day or the talk for each destination. Father Ryan Sliwa is going to do a talk on the Sacred Heart of Jesus. And again, they're going to learn about, journaling, and it's a really jam-packed. We have the Servador Sisters in Maryland doing the St. Therese Little Way, and Chrissy and Debbie will be teaching the children how to make these sacrifice beads that St. Therese was so famous for, and they'll have all of this craft in the bag that they had ordered for their children. Then Father Michael Pierce is going to do information about Eucharistic miracles for the children, and then the children get to make a monstrance. So it's a jam-packed, really exciting week.
The committee has even added something extra special. You'll need popcorn for this.
Experience the greatest rescue story of all time as it comes to life on stage.
He's a miracle worker, a healer, a prophet.
This Jesus is a rebel.
We get to have a free family movie night with Sight and Sound, which is a really cool, it's kind of like a Broadway show.
Everything Jesus does points to love.
Come along on a miraculous journey in this original stage production, seen by more than 1 million people.
He is alive in us, and he can live in you too.
Jesus.
I can't help but see and notice that God knew we were going to need each other in this time of continued shutdown and virtual world, and how much he knew we would need to be there for each other here during October. We were able to put together a beautiful sacramental kit that we all really need in our homes, especially if there's a second wave or another shutdown, and we won't be, if we're not able to go into churches again, we will have those sacramental kits of exorcised salt and blessed water and blessed holy water and blessed candles. All of those things will be in our homes via those bags. And so I can't help but see the blessing of that as well.
The conference bag has all the swag and much more. A portion of one's registration fee can be used to order one for adults and one for children. It is shipped the week before the conference.
We've been really, really blessed to have all of our sponsors still support us, and that essentially made the conference free for anybody that wanted to attend. Some of our vendors had provided things that they had planned on selling at the conference, and you can now purchase them here, which is really sweet and exciting. We, of course, have our logo on a mask and are willing to throw that in the bag if you'd like one. But yes, take a look. We still have our store up. That is not included in your $50 ticket. Each of these links are clickable to a website if they have one. Our Support Us page is really like walking through a vendor hallway in a live conference. So please do visit our Support Us page, because these things don't happen without all of these Catholic businesses. All along the way, we've just had to keep asking, Lord, what do you want us to do next? What do you want us to do with this? And he keeps pushing us a little bit further and a little bit further. And the team truly has been doing this with joy. Just like Abraham and Isaac, he asks us to go to the extra mile. And this team has really gone the extra mile just to bring Catholic life to our brothers and sisters, because without us building each other up, then, our church falls apart.
Pope St. John Paul II always used to say, be more. Be more. Strive to be more than what you can be. Know that you can go the extra mile. Know that it's worth your time.
It's been an amazing journey.
And may Almighty God bless you, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Awaiting the launch of a Diocesan First for Real to Real, I'm Nick Morganelli.
And it's not too late to register. Visit our website for a link on how the whole family can participate. And for this week, that's Real to Real. A programming note for our viewers on WWLP Channel 22 in Springfield. Next Saturday, Real to Real will be preempted due to NBC programming. All other viewers will see a special encore edition of Real to Real. And we will be back with a new program in 2 weeks. But remember, as always, you can keep up with all of the latest news on the Catholic Church, both here in the Diocese of Springfield and around the world, by heading over to our news and information site, iobserve.org. You can also connect there to our Catholic Communications YouTube page, where you will be able to find archived stories and episodes of Real to Real. It's all found through a link on iobserve.org. And you can also like us on Facebook at Catholic Communications. Please keep in mind also that Real to Real is only made possible thanks to your support of the annual Catholic Appeal. If you've made your gift already, we thank you. And if not, please consider doing so. It's easy. Just head over to diospringfield.org, where you can make your donation through a secure donation portal. That's found at diospringfield.org. Thank you in advance for your generosity. And I will see you right back here in 2 weeks for Real to Real, your window on the world around you. See you then.
Real to Real is a production of the Catholic Communications Corporation, funded in part by the annual Catholic Appeal, and the support of you, our faithful viewers.